What's happening, ladies and gents? It is Friday, the 11th of June. Hopefully your Thursday night went well, and hopefully your Friday is off to a lovely start. If you can slide that finger over to the thumbs up button, it is very much appreciated. Let's start running through tonight's MLB plays. Going to roll solo on this one as we catch up on some other stuff. Matt will cover the write-up like always for paying customers. Members-only videos should be out already. So today's show is brought to you by our good friends over at Drafters, guys. I would encourage anybody listening to this. I know I talk about them almost every single day, but we have such a blast doing these daily snake drafts with a bunch of our customers that we'd love to get some of you guys to come play with us. There's a link to a Facebook group below. Our promo code is DFS 5-pack. Don't care. I appreciate it if you use it. Don't need to use it to get into the group of players that we got rolling. It's a blast. It's fun. Come get with it, guys, and I will guarantee you have a good old time. All right, weekly, monthly memberships available through the website. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. So today is riddled with good pitching options. By my count, there is somewhere between 11 and 15 starting pitchers that you can make a rational case for. Obviously, you're going to see a bunch of the studs up top. Those are your better, more secure plays. As far as the mid-tier goes, a guy that I can get on board with is going to be Tyler Mahle of the Cincinnati Reds. Hit a bit of a rough patch. This guy had been good last year, had a nice start to the season, hit a little rough patch for a couple of starts there, and Cincinnati is coming off back-to-back really, really good starts. A lot of this one is going to be very much about the matchup, and what I mean by that is Colorado stinks. That is not a secret. I know it. You know it. Legitimately, anybody who watches Major League Baseball knows that the Colorado offense is relatively strikeout heavy, very now to cut. This will allow you to get some high-priced bats. If you can go Scherzer, DeGrom, go do your thing, man. But he's a lot cheaper. And while he doesn't own the same upside of these guys, we've seen this guy average about 30 DK points over his past two starts. He is very capable of upside. And he finds himself in a wonderful spot tonight against a really bad baseball team. Next up, brought him up for GPPs yesterday. He was solid. Today he's a cash lock. That is Jordan Alvarez of the Houston Astros. So the Astros outfield in general, chalk. Coors Field types of chalk. They get Shoemaker, and quite frankly, Shoemaker should be making shoes and not pitching at this level. Alvarez is too cheap for who he is. He's playing well. The Astros are rolling offensively right now. Quite frankly, they are tough to get away from in tournaments. The only argument against them is they're going to be really, really popular tonight. And I think most of us know that in baseball, stacking the popular players is not a recipe for winning tournaments, which is, for me, the ultimate conundrum about tonight's slate. The really, really obvious place is going to be way too popular for all the obvious reasons. Next up, Tim Anderson. So Scooble, his counterpart tonight, has been balling over the past month. That brings us to our next question. So Bellman and I had a spirited conversation about this one. It's a tough one to break down. Is Scooble a young pitcher kind of, coming into his own right now? Or is he just a guy with decent stuff who had a nice month? I shrug because I don't have the right answer for you. I don't know. It's too early to tell. Anderson, on the other hand, is still a better hitter than Scooble is pitcher. He's elite against left-handed pitching. He's a high upside play. Very low ownership tonight. I think it's an interesting kind of alternative stack. We've seen Anderson with monster game after monster game against lefties, and Scooble is prone to the home run ball. So I think it's an interesting call, and I don't think it gets a lot of love for a guy who has pretty good high DFS upside. Next up, let's shift over to my team, the Milwaukee Brewers, double representing with the t-shirt and the hat today. So let's talk about Luis Urias, who's got both second and third base eligibility. He's 3,700. Gets a good matchup tonight in DeYoung, who's not great. Ball popping out of that stadium. I think we all know that. I don't care what it's called now. I'm going to call it Miller Park for the rest of my life. That's what it is to me. The ball pops out of Miller Park when it's hot like this. It's kind of a joke when it comes to how easy. There's a couple stadiums you can kind of label as a joke when it comes to home runs. Cincinnati, Yankee Stadium. Milwaukee, my boys, we're right there as one of them. When it gets warm like this, the ball just flies out of there. So it's a good spot to possibly get home runs, get that lineup to turn over a couple of times tonight. Urias is playing well right now in that leadoff spot, very fairly priced. Can run a little bit, has a little bit of pop in that bat as well. Seeing the ball pretty well right now, and he's in a good spot. Last up, Jorge Soler, 2,900 Kansas City Royals outfielder. He's too cheap for what he's capable of. Now, he's kind of earned this price tag this year with a paltry 179 batting average, 607 OPS, only averaging 5.5 points per game. Not very good. We know he's a big upside guy. I think this had 48 home runs 2 years ago. He's only 2,900. He's better against lefties. He's been playing a little better recently. And now Irvin's coming off of a nice start, but he was getting crushed before that, showing that he's very capable of giving up big numbers. So I think Jorge Soler makes for a solid one-off or part of a small mini stack paired up against Irvin tonight. So that is what we got for today, guys. We appreciate you all watching. Have yourself a stellar rest of your Friday. Hopefully you guys have some fun tonight and you win yourself some playing DK, FanDuel, or whatever it is that you put your money into.